Welcome to Tech Talk Thursday, Season 5, Episode 5. This week is Part 3 of the Dr. Koh interview series. The Dr. Koh interviews chart the path of one of the electronics manufacturing industry's brightest and most innovative engineering talents. This week's episode is all about the future of inspection technologies and the role of AI. And welcome back. Today we're joined by Dr. Koh from Koh Young, who is, of course, the CEO and founder of the company. So, Dr. Koh, tell us, how do you see inspection systems developing over the coming years, and how big a role is AI going to play in that?
Very tough question. Actually, I think the inspection system industry has been already dealing with kind of some special types of AI technology already, because inspection system was supposed to make judgment on behalf of human being. So already inspection system companies have been doing kind of AI jobs so far. But however, recently from the IT industry, including Google or Apple, they developed kind of very specific, CNN, they call it CNN types of AI engine, very much powerful. So now, inspection system industry have been trying to adopt those successful story from IT industry, right? So we are also, you see, the AI technology, so will be playing like linear algebra for inspection system engineers. It will become kind of fundamental technology for them, especially for machine vision engineers and especially for software engineers. It will become very much fundamental technology for them to develop any kinds of inspection algorithms or kind of new types of user interface software systems. Okay, so
do you think AI will develop along certain lines? I mean, will it have to have standards around it in future? I mean, for example, the European Union are trying to introduce guidelines for the development of AI, which say things like, at the end of every decision, there has to be a human interface. How do you think that as a technology it's going to develop going forward?
Oh, that sounds good idea for the application of AI technology into medical area or pharmaceutical area or something like that. So dealing with human lives, we got to be very much careful.
Yeah.
And when we apply AI technology to military area, I think that sounds great. Great, that sounds great. But however, in the industrial application, the ideal target, ultimate target of applying AI technology is kind of autonomous factory or autonomous inspection systems or autonomous mounters or something like that. Then how can he involve human operations? In the process of making judgment. I doubt it, actually, for industrial application. So industrial application, actually, we have much more freedom, in applying advanced technology, than in a medical area or a military area or something like that. So actually, the AI, ultimate goal of AI technology, making the system autonomous and making the factory autonomous. That's my belief.
Right. So in other words, taking by making it, the more automation you can introduce in the smart factory of the future, then the more reliability you're going to have and a higher yield, because unfortunately, whether we like it or not, every human has a certain number of defects per million in them, even the best engineers. So the more you can automate the process, the more you're going to have better control over the outcome.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. Actually, you see, recently, politically speaking, there have been kind of onshoring efforts from USA and EU and Japan. All the advanced countries trying to restore their manufacturing bases in their own territories, right?
Yeah.
And but still, the products manufactured in their territory must be competing against cheaper, relatively cheaper products manufactured in kind of advanced underdeveloped countries, right? So the cost structure of products should be independent from labor cost. That's the only one way to have competitiveness edge of the products manufactured in the advanced countries, right? So I think our customers will pursue kind of near autonomous factory operation. Then you see the products manufactured in the advanced countries can easily compete against any products manufactured in anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's I think that's my belief.
Yeah, I think that reduces a lot of the barriers to where you manufacture the product. Where would you say who's leading the field in this at the moment in these highly automated factories of the future? Are Asian factories adopting them quicker than European factories or the US? Because it seems to me that Asia has got the higher volume, and so they're adopting it quicker. Europe is fairly second behind them, and the US is actually lagging in terms of adopting it.
We have a very broad range of customer groups. So according to our own experience with customers globally, I think Europe has been leading to build up this kind of smart factory concept.
Okay.
They set up their own definition of a smart factory, and step by step they have been realizing technologies and their own definition of what is a smart factory concept.
Yeah.
So Europe has been leading, and the automation Automation, if you install several hundred, what is it?
Robots.
Robotic, manipulators in your factory, but this robotic system are dumb, no intelligence. Then you will never be able to, reduce people, human operators, teaching and maintenance, and you see. So automation doesn't necessarily implies smart factory. Okay. So I think we are also we started from the unit equipment, unit processes, and so if our customer adopt our KPO solution, it's AI solution to optimize the printing process in real time. No human involvement. Okay, something like that. We started from the unit processes, and we will go up to the next step, line optimization, and the next step, multiple line optimization, and then in the end, we are going to optimize the whole factory operation, something like that. It'll take long time, but anyway, I think this will be the trend of smart factory. And the European customer, that's the industry 4.0 example lines, something like that. I think they started from the top. So from the viewpoint of factory operation, they started kind of automation, planning automation, or resource allocation automation, and a job distribution automation, something like that. They started from the top and they are going down. I think we are going to meet at some points. So it'll make a good match between.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who are obviously asking the question that for example, every inspection company now has their own line automation system. You have K-Smart, for example, which connects the data coming from the SPI and from the AOI in the different locations, essentially providing the eyes and ears of the production line. But then you also have every major pick and place company has its own line automation system, and they have also built out their equipment lines to now have printers and AOI systems in their portfolio. So who is ultimately going to control this process? Is it going to be the production people, the pick and place guys, the big ones, or is it going to be the software people? Is it going to be the inspection companies?
Well, it's the most difficult question. Actually, nobody has advantages over the others. I think inspection system supplier like Koh Young, we have our own advantage, and we have all the data available. We are generating data themselves to to make the lines or factories more efficient or optimized or something like that. But however, the process equipment companies, they have much better knowledge about the processes to be smarter, to be made smarter, right? So they have advantages in that sense. So question is that who is going to win in this game? I think it will depend on how strong their will and how strong their determination to realize this concept. And really how faithfully they execute their dreams. So realizing this dream requires a lot of investment.
It does, and I think one of the things that might be in your favor is the fact that your data collection is agnostic. You basically have to work with everybody's equipment, because when you go into a real factory situation, very few factories have exactly the same line and the same equipment throughout the factory. And especially when you go into the tier 2s and tier 3s where they've grown through acquisition, they might have My Data machines on one line and Fuji machines on another line and ASM in another part of the factory. So you have to be able to work with all of that data coming from all of these different places. So I think for the equipment guys to really compete in this area, they'd have to change their mindset a little bit and be a lot more open in who they work with.
Wow, that's true. Exactly true. And sometimes in the printing process optimization, we haven't got much trouble. All the printer suppliers have been cooperating with us very successfully, and we don't have any complaints. But mounted companies, some of the mounted companies, some of them have their own vision as we have. So they regard us as a potential competitor, something like that, right, in providing kind of a smart factory solution. So then who is going to make decision? Customers. So whenever customer asks suppliers, they need to follow. So customer is going to judge who is going to be the winner in this game. So customer select the winner, then the other players must follow.
Koh Young is leading a smart revolution that will change the world of electronics manufacturing. Based on our pioneering True 3D measurement-based inspection technology, we revolutionize the solder paste inspection market to such great lengths that 1 in 2 SPIs sold today is from Koh Young. Building our SPI technology, we expanded to automated optical inspection, also known as AOI. Every year, we introduce new award-winning innovations and have proudly earned the respect from thousands of customers across diverse industries. Aside from our R&D center in Korea, we have research facilities focused on artificial intelligence and deep learning across the world to help us further develop proprietary AI technologies for your challenges. With our global network of sales and service centers, we aim to respond quickly to your needs and to deliver the highest level of customer satisfaction.